hope you're well. Hope everything is well with you and your family. Hope you've had a lovely week. For a lot of us, especially those of us in the UK, this week a lot of children are going back to school. People are going back to work gradually, going back into the office, and so life is becoming a bit slightly more like the routine and the rhythms that we're used to. So I hope you are getting back into some of that rhythm, getting back into some of the things with school, and I hope you're all well and your family is well as well. So today I'm going to do something I normally do every end of the month, and that is to review all of the books that I read the month before. So it's just a quick video to show you my August in books. So in August I was able to read 5 books, and before you think that's a lot of books, it's not a lot. One of the reasons why I was able to get more books in August was because I was off work quite a lot, and if I'm off work quite a lot, reading is something I do as recreation, so I had quite a number of days, and it also meant that I read more fiction, and it just means that I was able to read more because I had more time on my hands, and that's the reason I was able to read. So that's going to be the same in September, because obviously the kids have gone back to school. There's a lot more to do. There's more activities, and also there's a lot also to do at work in September. September is going to be quite a busy month for me at work as well. So I'll just quickly do a review like I normally do of all of the books that I read in August, and I'll start with Dark Days by James Baldwin. So Dark Days is a collection of essays by James Baldwin, and he talked about his journey and his transition to being a writer. James Baldwin was one of the first male African American writers who kind of gained prominence. So this essays was him kind of trying to think about how his journey evolved, how he became a better writer, and how he was able to overcome some of the challenges by being a black writer, by being someone who was quite intellectual, not quite someone that you would fit into any camp. And he also talked about things like issues that we speak about today, like white privilege, and it's a very good collection of essays. I personally like essay collections, and as you can see, I've done a number of reviews on this series. So it's called the Penguin Classics, and it's a collection of about 50 books from various authors and writers. And I don't have all of them yet, but one day in my library, I'm prophesying it out here, I hope to be able to have all 50 of them and be able to have like a massive place where I can keep all of them. It's a really good one. It's just £1 for this series, but they have quite a number of them that are really quite good. The second book that I read in August was Mother Country by Charlie Brinkhorst. So this is also a collection of stories. And when I say stories, it's not like in the normal fiction sense. It's real life stories of members of the Windrush generation, those people who came to the United Kingdom from the Caribbean and started building a new life. So it wasn't just the stories of them, it was also the stories of their descendants, and it talks about identity. All the stories are quite different, all of them are really different, but it's a story that talks about identity. It talks about what it means to be British, what it means to be Caribbean, and it was a really good one. It was about a set of people who I highly admire, because it takes a lot of guts to leave your country back then, not knowing what's going to happen, and they were invited in that time to come to the UK to rebuild the UK after the Second World War. So it's a really good collection of stories, and it's one that I would highly recommend. The next book that I read, I'm not going to really talk about this because it's the book that we're reading in my book club. If you follow my page, you know that I'm always talking about my book club. We read Queenie by Candice Cather Williams for August. It's a story about a young black British woman navigating life, navigating love, and navigating so many things. There were a lot of themes in this particular book, but if you want us to go into those themes, join my book club. We are going to be discussing it today, and so by the time this video comes out, we'll be discussing it in the evening. So if you want to hear about it, send me a DM and I'll send you the link for you to join us. And the fourth book I read was The Lost Khaki Girls by Ronke Odelmi. Oh my god, I really love this book. I really loved it. I think I read it in 3 days because I didn't want to drop it. This is me when I'm reading fiction. When I get into the story, I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And I don't want to drop it. So it was that gripping. It was a thriller. And it was the story of 3 girls. So I'm Nigerian, like you all know. And in Nigeria, when you go to university in Nigeria, after your after you graduate, we have a program called National Youth Service Corps, where you serve your country for a year, and you get paid. Like, it's a sort of, can I call it an internship? Not really. But before you do that, you have a 3-week period, like a sort of boot camp, where you go to orientation camp, and this camp is run by soldiers. If you follow my stories, you'd have seen that a couple of months ago, or weeks, I put up a story about me in my NYC uniform. And this book just took me back there. It was gripping, it was thrilling. There's a lot of complex themes in there, and the characters were just a joy to behold. So it's a really, really good book. It's one that I'm thinking that I want to do a discussion on, maybe do an Instagram discussion on. It was recommended to me by my friend, and if she's watching this, I might rope her in to come and help me do an Instagram live for us to discuss this book. But it's a really, really good one. It's one that I also think that it would be good as a book club read. Well, watch this space for it. And the last but not the least is a book I read as part of another book club, but it's a book club for a group I'm in. It's called Love Your Life Not Theirs by Rachel Cruz. It's 7 habits for living the life, 7 money habits for living the life that you want. And I'm going to read an excerpt from it, as I would normally do. And the excerpt is from the last chapter in the book. And the last chapter in the book really, really is centered on money. As in, centered on money, centered on giving. Why do we have money habits? So I'll quickly read from it, and I'll just discuss some of the things that I took away from it. Generosity isn't a simple act of giving or a grand event. Generosity is a lifestyle that changes hearts and minds as it blesses everyone involved. I've learned over the years that giving is the most fun you can have with money, and I have to say that I am hooked. The habit of giving is the exclamation mark when it comes to our money. Improving your bank account isn't the primary purpose of good money habits. While that's important, it isn't where your journey with money should end. As you bring your money into alignment with your values, you begin to see how what you have to give, which is your time, your money, and abilities, can become instruments of grace that can impact the trajectory of others' lives forever. Having good money habits in place will help you find peace of mind. You will get to live life on your terms instead of the bank's. You will build wealth and buy the things that are important to you. You'll get out of debt once and for all. You'll communicate with your spouse and kids and others at a deeper level. But as wonderful as those things are, they aren't the end goal. Ultimately, you want to win with money so you can become an outrageous giver. So I'll just give a disclaimer here that you don't have to have actually gotten to financial freedom, so to speak. I'm always using question marks because it's such a subjective term. What financial freedom means to different people is different things to be a giver. And what I want to emphasize upon is that this book really talked about habits. And I'm a very I'm an advocate for building good habits. So when it talks about giving as a habit, and it talks about it, to be fair, the book does go into that when you go into that chapter. It talks about you not necessarily waiting till you have loads, or till you become debt free, or you become this for you to be a giver. The habit, like all things, like every habit, like every good habit, is you start small, and then it becomes part of you. It becomes something you do as a reflex. So generosity, as you said, is a lifestyle. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you do that means that you have a lot, because that's the mistake people make when it comes to money, or when it comes to money habits. I can't save because I don't have a lot, or I can't give because I don't have a lot. You can save. It just means that you have to save small, no matter how little. What it is that, even if it means that there's something powerful about, even if you save just £1, there's that compound effect of you continuing to do it and continue being consistent. It's the same with giving. If you start, even if you don't have a lot, you just become used to it, and then by the time you start having a lot, you can then be able to give a bit more. So the aim of building good money habits is not just for the sake of it, it's also for the sake of it to be able to give, to allow your life bless others. And that personally for me is something that really resonates with me. It resonates with how I want to live my life. I want to be financially free, not just for myself, but for me to be able to give without necessarily being worried about what's going to happen to me. And another thing, as I said, it's not necessarily that you have to have loads of money to be a giver. It is something that you build a habit of. So those are all the books that I read in August. I would love to, I think I always never say that, but I would really love to see what books you read in August, so share it in the comments. And also just let me know if you I'd convince you to read any of the books. So thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely, I actually like filming this video outside. So thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely week ahead. Thank you. Bye.